Hey guys, how you going? Okay, I don't know what I'm going to do here, whether it's going to be the same on Rumble and YouTube or not. I'm not sure yet. I'll work it out as we go through. I may have to cut some out for YouTube, so I might do the video, then have to cut some out because it's probably not allowed on YouTube. Okay, what we've got at the moment is I think it's about to happen, guys. Or something's about to happen anyway. We have financial and a possible war happening, okay? So, but we're going to go into England as well, but I do think it's a distraction. I do think it's a setup, and I'm just going to tell you to be very careful. Okay, the White Rabbit podcast said the rich sold off and left the world out to dry, but that's just a conspiracy theory. Why not a word on MSM? Dow Jones is way down. And I mean way down. Which is interesting. I'm hearing a lot about financial stuff going on, guys. And no one's really talking about what's going on in the Middle East right now. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Bob Moran said, Satanic Overlords progress meeting. Okay, we've entered the carefully orchestrated riots phase. How do we ensure it continues to escalate while making it really obvious we're behind all this, having a bloody good laugh? Make things start kicking off in lots of different locations over the weekend, but maybe pick one place in particular to really fan the flames. Fan the flames? Yeah, you know, stoke the fire. Really stoke it up. Stoke, stoke, stoke. Oh, I see what you're doing there. Lol, yes, that's perfect. And it's not exactly wrong. Anyway, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Okay, Tim Paul said, wow, just checked. What the fuck? Kamala has no campaign positions. Shabos Kestenbaum said, the Kamala Harris campaign website does not list a single policy position. This is the first presidential campaign in modern American history to not include any beliefs of the candidate. Hard to consider voting for her when she doesn't outline what she'll do as president. Well, she was asked yesterday, really. And she went off on some word salad. I'm not exaggerating. Her website is just a merch store, be it inflation, the border, the American hostages in Gaza. It's absurd to run a campaign without telling Americans what specifically you will do. Has the media ever asked? Even asked? I don't know. It's totally reasonable expectation as a registered Democrat to ask my party's nominee to clearly articulate what specific policies they will advance. One can dislike Trump's legislative priorities, but he's very open and direct about them. I can't say the same for Harris. Which is very interesting, isn't it? There you go. So apparently it's true. The Yorkshire lass said, while everyone's focused on the staged events happening in the UK, why are the MSM and our corrupt government not reporting on World War III kicking off in the Middle East and the financial system is collapsing? It is. This is, I believe, they are playing both sides on this. So both sides are... There's probably innocent people caught up in some of the protests, but the people kicking off have been, how do I say this, have been paid to kick it off. Actors and stuff. Rob Boyd Esquire, I believe that is. Keir Starmer is reportedly considering lockdown curfews in towns and cities affected by rioting. Will you comply? I would say no, but I'm not in England at the moment, but I would still say no, okay, because I believe this is something to bring this in. Lockdowns, curfews, things like that, okay, they're just trying again a different way. A lot of people went for it when COVID happened. This is another way in. Leilani Downing said government is now forcing people out of their homes, at least 10 homes, through compulsory purchase. Bottom of Etruria Road, Basford, Stoke-on-the-Trent by A500, stating that the air quality is poor. This is going to be their new terms of taking your property. Friend of a friend has just invested a fortune to do his home up. Take all these with a grain of salt, but look, normally the people who are saying this, yeah, normally as long as it's not mainstream media. But you still got to be careful of people saying things. That's why I said, look out your windows. What's going on down there or out there, you know, and judge for yourself. Look, if it's going to kick, it probably will kick off in Australia as well. I really feel sorry for England right now, but the same thing's going to happen in Australia. And if I have to, I'll drive the other way into the country to go shopping. I'm going to do what I can to I'm not going to lock up and lock down. I'm going to do my normal stuff that I did before. Laura Loomis said, why do the signs say Michelle? Michelle, as in Michelle Obama? Democrats said there are only 15 days until the Democratic National Convention. Who's excited? Apparently Michelle might be. I don't know. What's going on there? Did they expect Michelle was going to be the runner and they had to put Camilla in there instead? Photoshopped her in or something? I don't know. Gunther Eagleman said, why would a woman be wearing a jockstrap? Apparently this person, like there's part of the Olympics or part of the boxing federation or whatever, is saying this person is a male, shouldn't be boxing against females. And the Olympics are going, what the hell, we're going to do it anyway. So while our countries are trying to stop violence against women, right, the Olympics is actually promoting it. Makes sense, doesn't it? The Yorkshire Lass said the pedos at BBC are removing Hugh Edwards' image and his voice are being urgently removed from hours of BBC archived footage, starting with family and entertainment content on iPlayer. They're also trying to scrub his voice off when he commentated through the Queen Lizards and Prince Pedo Philip's funerals. Sorry, this person, not my thought, not my necessarily beliefs, but, you know, you never know. Like, I don't believe in reptilians, so there you go. Anyway, but they are frantically deleting all existence of Hugh Edwards. Edwards' offences took place between 2020 and 2022 when 41 indecent images of children were sent to him on WhatsApp by another man whose name has not yet been exposed. Well, look, okay, it depends. I don't know, it depends. Did he keep the images? If someone just sent you images, you've got no control over that. But if he was involved in this, then that's another story. Okay, and I don't trust The Guardian at all. I have watched them lie after lie after lie. Okay, Alexandra Marshall said, I hope those misguided and naive individuals who embrace globalism and the lie of a one-world utopia of citizens finally understand that we have countries with hard borders for a reason. A house with a lock on the door is a safe house. If someone breaks in, they should go to jail. Okay, anyone who is for globalism and open borders, I recommend that you leave your front and back door open all the time and see what happens. You cannot do it. Okay? I am not in favour of open borders. You need to have any peace at all. You do need borders. And try telling that to England right now, that they don't need open, like they have to have open borders, you know, that's not working. It's not working. Wide Awake Media said, except universal basic income won't be money for nothing, you'll need to jump through numerous dystopian hoops in order to be eligible. Just be aware, especially in England right now, universal basic income, money for nothing is universal basic income about to transform society. Yeah, watch. First, they'll require you to have a digital ID. Then it'll only be paid out in the form of CBDCs. And forget about receiving any payments unless you're up to date with all the required injections or if your social credit score is too low. And once you've become dependent on it, you can kiss goodbye to free will and autonomy. The goalposts will be continually moved in an ever more dystopian direction. And you'll have no choice but to comply. Because how else will you buy food or pay your rent? Beware. You see, this fake news is saying the concept of a guaranteed income is gaining traction as a solution to the impact of AI and way to encourage more rewarding and socially valuable work. Dear God, please don't fall for that. Whatever you do, don't fall for that one. AJ Roberts said the riots, paid actors, the mainstream narrative and media twists are all to distract you from military action in the Middle East and other key parts of the world and crash the entire financial system. Then you'll see military on the streets because it's all part of the worldwide military operation that's been happening since 2020, while the world's been distracted with something different each week. Forward march. Yeah, I'd like to know that too, Caroline. Who are the paid actors and who are they working for? Well, the paid actors, I don't know if you remember, but just recently, like a few months ago, there were advertisements for crisis actors. I'm not sure if anyone remembers that, but I do. Funny, because I've got a memory like a sieve. Okay, anyway, concerned citizens said anyone find it weird they've made up a virus, injected people with a poison, divided society, started blocking out the sun, destroyed the economy while simultaneously robbing it, are allowing your country to be invaded and are trying their hardest to start World War III. And yet nobody really seems to want to talk about it, or at least even care. Yes, we're about to get to the hardest part, guys. Even Tate in here says, any Muslim who's upset I'm against unchecked immigration is an idiot. It's not anti-Islamic to believe in passports and borders. Does Dubai allow unchecked immigration, or is it some of the strictest in the world? Muslims who claim the UK should not have a border are hypocrites. And he also posted this. Typical man from Cardiff these days. Great. Okay, and he's a Muslim. UNN said just in, Yvette Balls announces up to £29.4 million of extra funding available this year to offer emergency security to mosques. Mosques are to be offered greater protection with emergency security that can be rapidly deployed. Yet the arms shipments to Israel and bombing of the Middle East continues. People need to wake up that the regime is trying to play all sides off on one another. They are, because they fund Hamas, then they fund Israel, then they obviously getting these actors to go and do these things to try and start the normal people doing it as well. That's what they're trying to do. Just don't get hurt, guys. If you want to, it's up to you, but don't do it. I wouldn't do it. But I'm a girl, but I wouldn't do it. Oh dear. Ollie London said these are two of the semi-finalists in the Olympics women's boxing. As you can see, both of them are male. I don't know, they like screaming an awful lot, don't they? Anthony Scalise, it must hurt to transition. I don't know, they seem to be screaming an awful lot. Come to think of it, trans people do scream an awful lot. Does it hurt to transition? That's what I'm wondering. Bit of a joke on my part. I'm sorry. Anthony Scalise said fellow Australians are right behind the UK. We are. Yeah, watch it go. And we are right behind you, as in we are supporting you. Yep, fully support the UK and Ireland taking back their countries. Deport the fake refugees. Oh, and Ireland. Wait till you see what Ireland has done. I never thought I'd see the day. Alexandra Marshall said, congratulations, progressives. Are you proud of yourself? You've turned men hitting women into Olympic sport. While our countries are trying to stop violence against women. That makes a whole lot of sense, doesn't it? Joey Manarino said, savage third world migrants from disgusting countries have not progressed past medieval-style beheadings, recreational gang attacks, and barbarism were never meant to coexist with first world Westerners who've become far too soft and welcoming. It was always going to end as it is now, inevitably ending. A sane response from the governments of the Western world would be to immediately cease the importation of these people and immediately begin a roundup and deportation of those who remain in the country. Instead, the majority of these governments have decided to turn against the civilised first world people who've done nothing but peacefully protest. They've decided to favour the very people invading their nations and assisting them, even providing security details to their neighbourhoods. They've decided that any criticism of these people should be considered hate speech and result in arrests. The minorities, the minorities that are not so minority anymore. They allow these animals to violently attack our women, participate in grooming gangs, targeting the children, and desegregate the Christian foundation the Western nations are built upon. It is inevitably going to end in an all-out war where one side or the other will win out. It shouldn't have gotten to the point of bloodshed, but that point is playing out all over the Western world right now. Yeah, but I would say by actors mostly. The bottom line is we cannot coexist with those who are diametrically opposed to our way of life and are completely unwilling and unable to change their ways. Exactly. If you go to a country, you adopt their laws and their ways. You do not go to a country and try and change it into where you came from. If that's the case, go back home. What is wrong with people? AussieBot said, what's the misinformation? 7 News Melbourne said a fresh wave of violence is sweeping across the UK with more police officers injured and buildings set alight in a night of rioting. Far-right anti-immigration groups have capitalised on the murders of 3 little girls to push their agenda as misinformation spreads online. What is that? Far-right anti-immigration groups have capitalised. No, the murders shouldn't have happened in the first place, excuse me. Spewing the narrative propaganda, reinventing the goalposts with far-right language, so the far-right are the citizens who are sick of the imported violence from immigration and two-tier justice system. Sounding like safe and effective rhetoric 7. Yep, I agree. This is disgusting. Where's the misinformation? 3 little girls were killed. People are protesting because they don't want it to happen. And the news, 7 News Melbourne, says it's far-right anti-immigration groups that are the problem. Of course. Okay, I'm going to need my headphones for this. We've got Keir Starmer. Sorry, guys. I know you probably don't want to hear him, but I haven't heard this, so I'm going to listen to it. Rational Aussie said, how stupid is this Keir guy? Genuinely, it amazes me how stupid these politicians are. This guy is a straight-up moron. All he's done is inflame the situation with even more with his speech. Emphasis online speech and far-right thugs. What a flog. Totally tone-deaf, no interest in addressing the root cause, only interested in using militia to enforce authoritarian rule and virtue signal, more woke BS, typical left-wing clown, unfit to run a fish and chip shop, let alone a country. Okay, now, this is where we get to what this is for. To enforce authoritarian rule and virtue signal more woke BS, right? They're using this, okay? And when they're using this, it makes me think by design. Tommy Robinson said, Keir Starmer releases another video telling everyone again they're still far-right thugs and he's going to round up everyone. Completely ignoring the Muslims running the streets with weapons attacking white people at random. He's allocating millions to protect mosques. Let's have a little listen. I don't want to, but...
Be in no doubt, those that have participated in this violence will face the full force of the law. The police will be making arrests, individuals will be held on remand, charges will follow, and convictions will follow. I guarantee you will regret taking part in this disorder, whether directly or those whipping up this action online and then running away themselves.
Sorry, guys, I had a phone call in the middle of this. I'll see if I can edit this together to make sure it sounds right, but I've tried to go back a little bit.
And then running away themselves. This is not protest. It is organised, violent thuggery. And it has no place on our streets or online.
Okay, if it has no place on your streets or online, why are the other side doing that?
Right now, there are attacks happening on a hotel in Rotherham. Marauding gangs intent on law-breaking, or worse. Windows smashed, fire set ablaze, residents and staff in absolute fear. There is no justification, none, for taking this action. And all right-minded people should be condemning this sort of violence. People in this country have a right to be safe. And yet, we've seen Muslim communities targeted, attacks on mosques, other minority communities singled out, Nazi salutes in the street, attacks on the police, wanton violence alongside racist rhetoric.
I'm sorry, but the main people I can see attacking police is the people who have come into the country. This guy is infuriating. Oh, to me, this guy is as infuriating as our Prime Minister here in Australia. And Trudeau. Absolutely infuriating.
So no, I won't shy away from calling it what it is. Far-right thuggery. To those who feel targeted because of the colour of your skin or your faith, I know how frightening this must be.
Hello, white people Christianity.
I want you to know that this violent mob do not represent our country, and we will bring them to justice. Our police deserve our support as they tackle any and all violent disorder that flares up.
Well, tackling is all they can do, isn't it now? Because you've taken all their arms off them, you bloody idiot. Anyway, this guy, I believe, is, apart from being an absolute idiot, he seems to be stoking it. Again, stoking, the fire. Okay, and calling everyone right-wing extremists. Okay. Anyone, look, if you're looking at the truth at all, the media considers you and the politicians consider you right-wing.
Whatever the apparent cause or motivation, we make no distinction. Crime is crime, and this government will tackle it.
Really? What about the pedos? Is that still a crime? Are you going to tackle it? I don't think so.
Thank you. So, 2 questions, Rob.
Yes, we've seen a hotel being set fire to in Rotherham today being broken into. Can you say that the policing operation has been a success, and what more can the government do to stop this?
Well, as a government, we've had meetings all weekend and in the latter part of last week.
Oh, meetings. Yeah, meetings are going to stop it. Yep, meetings will stop it. Yep. Probably cost the taxpayer a fortune for those meetings, by the way.
With law enforcement, with police, to make sure the necessary support and arrangements are in place. We do have standing arrangements for law enforcement, which means that we can get arrests, charged, remands in custody and convictions done very...
I think this is all hot air, honestly. I don't think when it gets to court, like the COOF, right, it didn't stand up. Oh, hang on, where am I? Go back, no. Oh, yeah, I hit the right one. It's okay. It was Tommy Robinson that said it. Okay, I thought it was him, Keir Starmer, and I'm thinking, no, I didn't want to like his post. Craig Kelly said that the old left used to be rebels. Because I was on the left, right, when I was younger. That would question authority, but something has happened to turn today's left into bootlickers for authority and conformity. Klaus Schwab said nobody's safe until everyone's vaccinated, and the left demand his edict be followed and vaccine mandates introduced. Bill Gates says cows are a problem, and the left happily eat fake meat and insects. The UN Secretary-General, Tedros, says people must surrender their freedoms in the name of fighting climate change, and the left happily comply. What happened to them? Well, they're now considered far-right. Yep. Verica said, so true, us far-right wingers are like the lefties from the 60s and 70s. The leftists are now just hypocritical commies, all pro-war, anti-freedom and anti-environment. Exactly. When the government says they're going to save the environment, that's not what they're doing. Everything the government does is it's like a veil, they're doing something else, okay? Probably the opposite of what they say they're doing. Daniel said, excellent observation on Gaza refugees en route to Australia. The people leaving Gaza have plenty of money to bribe officials, and people in Gaza with plenty of money, and those connections are almost certainly tied to Hamas. And they're coming here, and this is, I don't know, responding to somebody? Inviting the fox into the hen house, exactly. McAmius said, you realise if the world economy enters a global recession or potential depression, if a system collapses, we're at risk of creating hyperinflation, right? The biggest transfer of wealth in history has already occurred whilst you're all fighting, and now they'll finish the job. They'll finish the job by making you homeless. They'll finish the job by ensuring you can't pay your bills. They'll finish the job by ensuring you can't afford to live. They'll they now will eventually start to call up citizens to fight in the never-ending wars. And when they do, what are you going to say? The government is not your friend. Understand that and you'll start to understand what freedom truly is. The opinionated black woman said, I've been waiting for this since the 08 GFC is going to happen and we must be prepared. It's been prepped for 3 years, he said. I've got a lot of stuff I've hoarded over the years that can be used for trade. Cupboards are full. Garden is going in tomorrow. Just got to get some crypto when I cash out my shares. I've got the garden. I've got a tiny bit of crypto. I've got... yeah, unfortunately, I've been hoarding stuff over the years and my back shed is full of... I don't even know what I've got in there, but I've got a lot of stuff that I could use for trading if I had to. So there you go. Oracle of Delphi said, reopen Mount Warning. Tear down this wall. This is supposed to be the Aboriginal Mount Warning now. But even the Aboriginals are in there saying, hey, tear down this wall. This is not on. Right? Then you've got Jack Straw. Take this with a grain of salt. I'm not sure. Associated Press. Artist behind the Paris Olympics opening ceremony hospitalised after freak lightning strike. Whether that's a joke or not, it's still pretty funny. Even though I'm not really laughing. No, I am. It is. Imagine the artist behind the Paris Olympics opening ceremony hit by lightning. Is that from God or what? Alex Armstrong said day 30 of a Labor government. Let's look at their records so far. This is in the UK, in England. Nationwide rioting and protests, at least 12. Schools forced to close due to education taxes. Illegal migrant crossings nearing an all-time high, 17,000. GPs to strike for the first time in 80 years. Elderly, disabled and vulnerable pensions will be left to freeze after fuel subsidies cut. A £20 billion black hole lie to justify tax increases, two-tier government and policing at an all-time high, and flown in private jets while urging climate action. Things can only get better. Things can only get better. Can only get better. Okay, anyway, enough of my singing, it's terrible. Peter Sweden said breaking 3 people have been murdered, having their throats cut in Spain in the last 72 hours. One victim was even beheaded. Why isn't this all over the news? Because it's not the right wing doing it, that's why. If it was the right wing, it'd be all over the news, but it's not. Have Snowball Choo Choo said machete attacks in Melbourne, cowards given the death penalty. 9 News Melbourne said a teenager is still fighting for life after a violent stabbing in Caroline Springs. The targeted assault happened in front of dozens of witnesses and attackers are still on the run. Is it the usual suspects? I'd say so. D, oh yeah, this is one I'm going to have to do on Rumble. Give me a sec. Definitely interesting, okay. That 4 to 6%. Hazel Appleyard said this week in Britain summed up and why the right is so angry. The 17-year-old son of immigrants stabbed 11 little girls, 3 of whom died. The police say it's not a terror incident. He's not a terrorist. In fact, here he is at age 11 dressed as a Doctor Who for children in need. He's autistic too, so we should feel sorry for him. Meanwhile, men who are annoyed about it, they're labelled far-right terrorists by the government for chucking some stuff at a mosque. Where are the priorities? They always show the people as children, as with the Trump assassination. They showed the person when they were, young. Okay, yep, they used a photo of him as a child. It's also twisted. How is stabbing little girls to death not an act of terror? I'm so heartbroken about this. And autistic is not a reason either. I know autistic kids who would not do this. It is not an excuse. Neither is him working for children in need. Okay, so anyway. Okay, here we go in Ireland. Whoa, this is big. Guys, this is huge. Cillian said this is incredible. The Catholics and Protestants are quite literally marching shoulder to shoulder in Belfast, Northern Ireland, as they demand an end to mass immigration. When these two communities are putting their differences aside and coming together, you know you've messed up. Let's have a look at this. Go Ireland. I'm so proud of you guys.
Yeah, pedos off our streets. Pedos out. Pedos out. 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 The news will tell you there was probably 100 people here. We beg to differ. Yeah, you the lads. Yeah. Look at this. That's a fucking beautiful thing, boys. Look at that.
That is amazing. That is honestly the best thing I have seen. Okay? Wow. I'm absolutely blown away by this. I cannot believe it. It's amazing. I've got tears of happiness coming right now. Go Ireland. Come on, come together against this one cause. Okay. LT Australia said desperate Labor importing the death cult for votes. Labor think nothing of compromising or sacrificing our families' safety just so they can win the upcoming federal election. Children were recently slaughtered in England by the same crowd that Labor are bringing in here. Peter Credlin said, does Labor really want votes from this crowd? Gaza is the issue that matters most to Muslims. Damien at the other side said, I seriously question whether we can live together anymore. The division between those who want big government imposing equity and diversity, multiculturalism and radical progressivism versus those who want small government and national integrity and meritocracy and a return to conservative values is getting so great in the developed Anglosphere and Europe that we may need to see the US, UK, Canada and Australia and maybe France, Italy and Spain all split into two separate states along political lines. Either that or we will combust as we tear ourselves apart and our enemies take advantage. I don't think that's going to happen. You know why? Because the people that support all this radical progressivism and multicultural and diversity and equity and all that will be a very small state. 4 to 6%, mate. I'm telling you. Either that or we will combust as we tear ourselves apart and our enemies take advantage. I'm not kidding. The divide seems irreconcilable. There needs to be a Christian Trump America and a multicultural Kamala America, because I truly believe people will never just agree and the conflict is unsustainable and unhealthy and just unpleasant and unnecessary. Just split the territory and governments, problem solved, everyone happy. I know which one I'd be investing in and want to raise kids in. Now, I don't think that this has to happen. In fact, if it does, I can see more problems in this, because they will not leave. The left will not leave the other side alone. Okay, or you want to change it from left to right. You want to make good versus evil. Okay, it's very easy. We can do it that way if you want. If you don't like the left and right, well, then it's evil versus good. Okay, Joey Manarino said, why do so many people want... and it still goes. This goes for... Look, we should have one island where we send all the lefties to. It doesn't need to be that big because there won't be many of them. Let them run their own country and they won't reproduce and they won't continue. It'll die. Anyway, that's just my suggestion. Let's give them an island, put them all over there. They can start from the beginning. Joey Manarino said, why do so many people want to lose on principles suddenly? It's Trump or Kamala, it's MAGA or Marxism. You don't have to love Trump. You don't even have to like Trump. You better vote for him because 4 years under Kamala and damage that gets done is irreparable. That border will stay wide open and amnesty will be issued to everyone who comes through it. The same way Reagan's 1986 amnesty turned California blue forever, that amnesty would turn Texas blue forever. Once we lose Texas, we lose every path back to the White House. This is the last chance we have at a conservative victory in America. Not only that, Thomas and Alito aren't young. If Harris gets in, she very well could replace either one of them. That would shift the balance of the court back to the left. Then what? What will your principles be worth then? So if Trump isn't conservative enough for you on a certain issue, suck it up and get over it. You can try to push him to the right on certain issues later, after we win, but at this moment, for 96 days total, and complete unity is required. There's no other way. There's no other chance. There's no third plan. So unless your goal is to lose, buckle the fuck up and get on board. It's MAGA or Marxism. That's it. You want MAGA or you want Marxism? It's up to you. You've only got two choices. Mr. Poole said the biggest event is coming. The world will be stunned, and I think we're just about there, guys, honestly. I really do. Matt Wallace said, this is a 17-year-old kid who stabbed and killed 3 white children. The media is disgusting. They will never say their race. That's why. And then we got another post that I can only do on Rumble, so give me a sec. Okay, so let's continue on. Liani Dowding said, this man just stabbed a young female in a restaurant in Stirling. 2 other people are hurt, nothing on the mainstream. Anybody know this guy? Because he just stabbed my wee sister in the middle of town. Anyone know this person? Probably better seeing it here. Lisa said the situation in the UK is tragic. To be pushed to civil unrest in order to preserve the fundamental democratic value of protecting your citizens in their country is unacceptable. It should never have got to this. Interestingly, it's front page news at the New York Times and media outlets in the US. Not here. In Australia, there's a blanket ban. No coverage whatsoever yet. Thank goodness for X. Australians will be left in a vortex of ignorance without news from this platform. Ian Miles Chong said, welcome to the first days of the British Civil War. I think this is, I think this is staged. Sorry, just my opinion. You don't have to agree with me, and I don't want you to agree with me. What I want you to do is look for yourself. Scooby-Doo said, I want to tell you all something. As you're aware, my wife is an assistant manager at a pharmacy, a large chain. She told me today they had an emergency conference call. As of today, ordering has been placed on hold for the next 6 weeks. When it runs out, when stuff runs out, there'll be nothing left. I don't know, but be prepared. If you need medication, go get it now. James Herson said Liverpool is a war zone. Is this a kid? What's a kid doing there? Okay. Ian Carroll said, welcome to 2024, where I'm not 100% sure if this is real or elaborate deep fake scam. This is a scam. It's live on YouTube a lot of the time, and it's Elon Musk explaining how you send your crypto to their special address and then it'll be sent back to you doubled. Please do not fall for this. This is a scam, and it's a deep fake. Okay, Gunther Eagleman said this time next year, 22 hours ago, he said this. Donald Trump posted this on Truth Social, I believe. By this time next year, American borders will be strong, sealed and secure. Inflation will be in full retreat. Our economy will be roaring back. Optimism will be surging. The American dream will be thriving again for citizens of every race, religion, colour and creed. Law and justice will reign all throughout our land. Freedom will be restored. The flame of liberty will be burning bright. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, the worst administration in the history of our country, will be a fading memory of the past. And our great silent majority, including the once forgotten men and women of our country, will be the ones shaping America's magnificent future. When I'm the 47th President of the United States, because we are all Americans. And together we will show November 5th to be the most important day in the history of America. Laura Loomis said, breaking following my report, which confirmed today by Daily Mail. I don't trust them either. Exposing Kamala Harris's husband, Doug Emhoff, his affair with his daughter's elementary school teacher, which resulted in her getting pregnant and fleeing to New York in secrecy. The second gentleman has been forced to admit the story is true. He did in fact get his daughter's elementary school teacher pregnant while he was married to his first wife, and it was kept secret, quiet, all of these years to protect Kamala Harris's political career. To cover it up, Emhoff forced the teacher, he impregnated out of the school and out of California while his kids remained at the elite Los Angeles private school. Kamala Harris is not the champion for women she pretends to be. There you go. Okay, Reggie VJ said, one of the dudes that got whacked for not lining up for the COVID scam. There's questions about whether they were taken out for opposing it. John Magaluf, age 61. Hamid Bakayoko, age 56. Ambrose Delman, I can't say it, age 52, I'm so sorry, R.I.P. mate. Age 55, Pierre, and there you go, there's another one. Okay, they all died around the same time. Close to one another, December and June 1st, December 2020, then March 2021, and then March 2021. Okay, I think that's a while ago. Yeah, that's a long time ago. April the 7th. Okay. Anyway, guys, I think that's it for today. Let me know what you think about all this down below. Do you agree this just could be all, show for you? A big show? You think they're stoking the fire? Anyway, that's why I was asking yesterday if you can tell me what's going on outside your actual window, where you live. Doesn't matter if you live on a quiet street, a busy street. Do you see anything? If you go to town for shopping, do you see anything? Okay, guys, you can let me know down below. Much love, and I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, guys, bye.